Hi everyone, I'm Rincey and this is Rincey Reads. Today I want to talk about All the World Can Hold by Jung. This is a book that takes place directly after September 11th, 2001. It actually starts on September 16th, 2001, and it is following three different people who are on a cruise ship. The first person is Franny, who is Korean American, and she is on the cruise ship with her husband Tom, who is white, and they are on this cruise because it is Franny's mother's 70th birthday, and so she planned this cruise as a celebration for her mother's birthday. And like in Korean culture, apparently like 70th birthdays are like a big deal, and usually you do like a big celebration with a bunch of like specific things, traditions. But like she's decided to like take her mother on a cruise along with her brother and his girlfriend, and like Tom is actually like really upset about going on this cruise after September 11th has happened, and like the two of them like live in New York City, like live in Manhattan and things like that. The story begins with them like kind of getting on the cruise after having a major fight about the fact that they are still attending this cruise. The second person you're following is this aging actor named Doug, who was on a like Love Boat style TV show, and he's doing one of those sort of like celebrity cruise type things. Like the cruise that they're on is the boat that where this TV show was recorded. And so a bunch of like fans of the TV show are there along with one of his former co-stars. Doug is someone who is now sober, but he is kind of dreading this experience and having to recount like those days because he a lot of times was drinking, on drugs, all of these different things. And he now has like tenuous relationships with various people who are part of that cast. And then the final person you're following is a woman named Lucy, who is finishing up her like graduate studies. Like I think she's doing like computer science, something along those lines at MIT. She's one of the only Black students in her class, and she has like just done an interview with this up and coming company called Google, and she's trying to figure out like her next steps in life when her roommate like just randomly asks her to attend this cruise with her. Like she was supposed to go with her grandmother, but her grandmother didn't want to fly out to like the East Coast after 9/11. So Lucy decides to just kind of like drop everything and go on this cruise with her roommate kind of uncharacteristically. So the book like sort of follows the three of them as they are passengers on this cruise, and it is a combination of them dealing with the circumstances of their life, and the various like situations that they're in, while also dealing with this like literally life altering, world altering event. There's a lot of like complicated feelings here where it's like, should they all be on this cruise right now, and how like different people mourn and grieve and deal with different situations, deal with difficult situations specifically. You know, there's a range of emotions going from no one should be doing this to maybe they just need a break from all of this, and it might do them some good to like get away and quote unquote forget about things for a little bit. And yeah, it's just like this really beautiful novel that is kind of exploring sort of like regrets that people have over the course of their life, how these major world events can kind of change or not change your perspective on these things, and like learning to move on and live life again. So yeah, overall, this, in my opinion, is a fantastic book. I ended up giving this book 5 stars. I thought it was really beautiful, really moving, really compelling. You know, I'm typically someone who doesn't enjoy multiple POV books. This one, I loved every single character and being in their heads and kind of seeing what they're going through. They all are going through like unique circumstances and handling things in unique ways. Like I really enjoy how the author is able to create these really well fleshed out characters. I think that the potentially the weakest character of the three is Lucy. Some of the things that she's like dealing with, I don't like fully feel like we understood. I feel like Franny's was the most compelling, followed by Doug, followed by Lucy. That's not to say again that Lucy's was bad in my opinion, but I do feel like it's the weakest of the three. But I do think all three of them have like really compelling stories that they're telling. I also think that the author does a great job of talking about 9/11 and reflecting on sort of like that immediate aftermath of the days right after the event happened, the confusion, the sadness, the questions. There's like so much that we know now in hindsight that you didn't realize in the immediate aftermath. Like the cruise is it was supposed to go from New York to Bermuda. It obviously changes after 9/11, and it goes from like Boston to Bermuda. And there's like discussions about like it's leaving like about 5 days after 9/11, and like people don't know like what's going to happen in the in between. The extent and depth of like what's happened is still like a little bit of a question mark. I really enjoyed how it explored like how different people handled the event in the aftermath, because I found it to be just like very true for like what I saw and what I experienced. Like some people were obsessed with watching the news and seeing the coverage. Other people didn't want to deal with it at all. There are like scenes in here that account like one of the characters is like in Manhattan when the towers go down, and just like the way the scene was written, like I could see it in my head because I still like have the memories of seeing the footage from that day, and like it felt real again. And like there were points in this book where I had to like pause because like I was just like remembering what life was like in those like immediate days after 9/11 and stuff like that. And I wasn't like super old. Like I was a freshman in high school, so I was like old enough to know things. Yeah, it's just like I feel like you can tell in the way that I'm talking about it too. Like I had to go deal with my child who woke up. So if I am sitting differently, that's why. Anyways, yeah, overall, obviously enjoyed my experience with this book. 5 stars. I don't know if they're all her books, but I've read Shelter by this author. And then she had another book that came out. Oh, beautiful. I just looked over at my shelves to see what it was. And I enjoyed all of those books. Shelter, especially, like, was a great experience. I think if you're someone who enjoys like sort of psychological, slow moving, I don't want to say thrillers, but like that sort of like vibe, then definitely Shelter is worth picking up. This is a great book worth picking up if you enjoy like character focused literary fiction that like explores ideas of like regret and grief and things along those lines. And yeah, this is definitely going to be one of my favorite books, if not my favorite books of the year. Loved it so much. So yeah, those are my quick thoughts on All the World Can Hold. Let me know down in the comments below if you've read this book or any other book by this author and what your thoughts were on them. Or if you have any questions, feel free to leave that down in the comment section as well. So yeah, that's all I have for now. Thanks for watching.